Hello brothers, and welcome to Sigma Grandpa channel. Never hand someone the power to become the center of your world, because the day they leave, they'll take your peace with them. That's a sentence most people don't understand until it's too late. Here's something fascinating. Psychologists have found that people often make major life decisions based more on the fear of being alone than on genuine compatibility. Think about that. Some relationships don't begin because two people are right for each other. They begin because silence makes one of them uncomfortable. Now here's where Sigma males confuse almost everyone. People assume they avoid relationships because they're cold, emotionally unavailable, or secretly afraid of commitment. That's the easy explanation. It's also the lazy one. The truth is far more uncomfortable. Sigma males aren't running away from love. They're running away from everything that often disguises itself as love. There's a difference, and it's a massive one. They've quietly observed something that many people spend decades ignoring. They've watched intelligent people lose themselves. They've watched ambitious people shrink their dreams. They've watched peaceful people become exhausted trying to keep someone else happy. And after seeing that pattern enough times, they begin asking one question very few people dare to ask. Is every relationship really worth having? The answer they arrive at is often shocking. Now, before anyone starts typing angry comments, don't worry. This isn't an anti-relationship meeting. Nobody's collecting membership cards for the Single Forever Club. Besides, relationships are a bit like smartphones. The right one can make your life easier. The wrong one somehow drains all your energy by lunchtime. In this video, we're uncovering the harsh truths most people never talk about. The hidden reasons Sigma males often choose distance over romance, peace over excitement, and purpose over emotional chaos. By the end, you may not only understand Sigma males better, you may start questioning what you've always believed about relationships themselves. Number 1, they notice how love quietly becomes a negotiation. One of the biggest reasons many Sigma males stay away from relationships is because they've learned that love can slowly stop feeling like love and start feeling like a negotiation. It rarely happens overnight. In the beginning, everything feels effortless. People give because they want to. They make sacrifices because they genuinely care. But as time passes, those same acts can quietly become expectations, and expectations have a strange way of turning into invisible contracts. A Sigma male notices this shift long before most people do. He starts hearing phrases that sound harmless but carry hidden conditions. After everything I've done for you, if you really loved me, I thought you'd do this without me asking. Suddenly, kindness isn't simply kindness anymore. It becomes a form of emotional currency, and every favor seems to come with an unspoken receipt. To him, that's a dangerous place for any relationship to be. He doesn't want to keep score, and he doesn't want someone else keeping score either. Real love shouldn't feel like two accountants balancing emotional spreadsheets at the end of every week. It shouldn't feel like every disagreement ends with someone opening an old file full of past sacrifices just to prove a point. That's why he pays close attention to how someone handles disappointment, conflict, and unmet expectations. Those moments reveal whether love is freely given or quietly traded for control, validation, or future leverage. The harsh truth is that many people don't even realize they're negotiating. They believe they're asking for fairness when, in reality, they're measuring affection by what they receive in return. Over time, that mindset slowly drains the joy out of a relationship. Number 2, they refuse to become someone else's emotional life support. One thing many Sigma males learn, often the hard way, is that there's a huge difference between supporting someone and carrying them. They're more than willing to stand beside a partner during difficult times, but they refuse to become the only thing holding another person's emotional world together. Some relationships slowly create an unhealthy pattern where one person becomes responsible for the other's happiness, confidence, motivation, and even peace of mind. At first, it can feel flattering. Being needed feels important. But over time, it becomes exhausting. Every bad mood becomes your problem. Every insecurity becomes your responsibility. Every difficult day somehow lands on your shoulders. A Sigma male recognizes this pattern quickly because he believes every adult should take responsibility for their own emotional health. He understands that a relationship should be a partnership, not a rescue mission. The harsh truth is that some people don't want a partner. They want someone to fix everything they haven't fixed within themselves. They expect constant reassurance, endless validation, and immediate solutions whenever life becomes uncomfortable. Nothing is ever enough because the real problem isn't outside the relationship. It's inside them. That's where a Sigma male quietly steps back. He knows that no amount of love can permanently fill a void that someone refuses to address themselves. You can encourage growth. You can offer support. You can listen. But you cannot become another person's emotional engine without eventually running out of fuel yourself. What makes Sigma males different is that they don't confuse guilt with responsibility. Just because someone is struggling doesn't mean it's their job to sacrifice their own mental peace to save them. They understand that helping someone should never require losing yourself in the process. Number 3, they value mental silence more than romantic excitement. One of the hardest things for many people to understand about Sigma males is that they place an incredibly high value on mental peace. They aren't chasing the emotional highs that often come with romance. They are protecting the quietness of their own mind. To them, that quietness is priceless, and they don't give it up easily. Many relationships begin with excitement. There are endless conversations, late-night messages, surprises, and constant attention. While most people see this as the ideal beginning, a Sigma male is already paying attention to something else. He isn't asking, how exciting is this? He's asking, how peaceful does this feel? There's a huge difference. He knows that excitement fades. The butterflies eventually settle. Real life takes over. What remains after the excitement disappears is the atmosphere the relationship creates every day. If that atmosphere is filled with unnecessary arguments, emotional guessing games, jealousy, overthinking, or constant reassurance, he sees it as a heavy price to pay. A Sigma male doesn't enjoy relationships that feel like emotional roller coasters. He doesn't believe love should leave him mentally exhausted at the end of every day. If he constantly has to explain himself, defend harmless actions, decode mixed signals, or walk on eggshells to avoid conflict, the relationship no longer feels like a place of comfort. It becomes another source of stress. What surprises many people is that Sigma males don't mistake peace for boredom. They don't need chaos to feel alive. They don't need dramatic fights followed by emotional reunions to believe a relationship is passionate. In fact, they often see that cycle as unhealthy rather than romantic. The harsh truth is that many people have become so used to emotional turbulence that calmness feels unfamiliar. But to a Sigma male, calmness is exactly what makes a relationship worth having. Number 4, they can sense when someone loves their potential more than their reality. One of the quickest ways a Sigma male loses interest in a relationship is when he realizes someone is more excited about who they hope he'll become than who he already is. It sounds harmless at first. In fact, it can even look like encouragement. But there is a fine line between believing in someone's future and constantly trying to reshape their present. A Sigma male pays close attention to that line. He notices when compliments are followed by suggestions for improvement. He notices when acceptance comes with conditions. He notices when conversations slowly shift from appreciation to correction. It starts with small comments like, "You'd be perfect if you were a little more outgoing," or "I just want you to open up more." On their own, those words may not seem like much, but repeated over time, they send one clear message. Who you are isn't quite enough. That message never sits well with him. A Sigma male doesn't expect anyone to be perfect, including himself. Growth is important, and he welcomes it when it comes from within. What he refuses to accept is becoming someone's personal project. He doesn't want to wake up every day feeling like he's being measured against an imaginary version of himself that only exists in someone else's mind. The harsh truth is that many people fall in love with possibilities instead of people. They create an ideal image in their head and spend the relationship trying to make reality fit that image. When it doesn't, frustration begins to replace affection. A Sigma male has no interest in living under that kind of pressure. He would rather be appreciated for the man he is today than constantly praised for the man someone hopes he might become tomorrow. Number 5, they refuse to build a life around someone's temporary feelings. A Sigma male understands something that many people don't realize until much later in life. Feelings are powerful, but they are also unpredictable. They can change with time, circumstances, stress, and even mood. That's why he is careful about making permanent decisions based on emotions that may only be temporary. He has seen relationships that started with endless passion slowly turn into distance. He has watched people promise forever, only to change their minds when life became difficult. He doesn't see this as proof that love isn't real. He simply understands that emotions alone are not strong enough to carry a relationship through every season. This is why he doesn't rush into making someone the center of his future. He won't abandon his goals, rearrange his entire life, or give up his sense of direction, simply because everything feels exciting in the moment. He knows that today's certainty can become tomorrow's uncertainty if it isn't supported by character, loyalty, and shared values. The harsh truth is that many people confuse intense feelings with lasting commitment. They believe that because something feels right today, it will automatically remain right years from now. A Sigma male doesn't think that way. He pays attention to consistency, not just chemistry. He wants to know how someone handles pressure, disappointment, conflict, and change, because those moments reveal far more than affectionate words ever could. That doesn't mean he's cynical or incapable of love. It means he refuses to gamble his future on emotions that haven't been tested by time. He believes a solid relationship should be built on trust, respect, reliability, and mutual effort, not on excitement that fades the moment life becomes inconvenient. Number 6, they study patterns instead of promises. A Sigma male has learned that words are easy to give away. Promises can sound convincing, especially when emotions are high. Almost anyone can say, "I'll never hurt you," "I'll always be there," or "You can trust me." But he knows that words are at their strongest before reality puts them to the test. That's why he pays far more attention to patterns than promises. He watches the small things that most people overlook. Does someone keep their word when there's nothing to gain? Do they treat strangers with the same respect they show friends? Do they stay consistent when life becomes stressful? Or does their personality change every time circumstances do? These quiet details tell him far more than grand speeches ever could. A Sigma male believes that behavior leaves fingerprints. You can hide your true intentions for a while, but habits eventually expose them. A person who constantly makes excuses today will probably make excuses tomorrow. Someone who avoids accountability in small matters is unlikely to suddenly become responsible when bigger problems appear. He doesn't judge people by one mistake, but he does pay attention when the same behavior keeps repeating itself. The harsh truth is that many people fall in love with potential because they listen more to promises than to patterns. They ignore repeated warning signs because the other person always knows the right thing to say. Eventually, they find themselves shocked by behavior that had actually been visible from the beginning. A Sigma male refuses to make that mistake. He isn't impressed by dramatic declarations of loyalty or endless compliments. He wants to see patience during disagreements, honesty when telling the truth is uncomfortable, and consistency when no one is watching. Those qualities can't be faked forever. Number 7, they see how relationships can quietly punish excellence. One of the harshest truths a Sigma male notices is that not everyone celebrates your growth. People often say they want a partner who is ambitious, disciplined, and driven. But when those qualities demand time, focus, and sacrifice, the reaction can change. Admiration quietly turns into frustration, and support slowly becomes resistance. A Sigma male has seen this happen more times than most people realize. The moment he starts making progress, someone may begin asking why he's working so much, why he's spending time learning new skills, or why he isn't available every minute of the day. What once looked like encouragement slowly becomes pressure to slow down. Not because success is wrong, but because growth can make other people uncomfortable. He understands that every meaningful goal requires sacrifice. Building a career, mastering a craft, improving financially, or developing self-discipline takes time. Those hours have to come from somewhere. A mature partner understands that. An insecure one may see every hour spent improving as an hour taken away from them. That's where problems begin. A Sigma male doesn't want to apologize for becoming a better version of himself. He refuses to shrink his ambitions just to make someone else feel secure. If a relationship requires him to think smaller, dream less, or settle for mediocrity, he already knows the price is too high. The harsh truth is that some people love your potential only as long as it doesn't change the balance of the relationship. The moment your confidence grows, your standards rise, or your life becomes more purposeful, they may start creating guilt instead of encouragement. Not always on purpose, but enough to slow your momentum. That's why a Sigma male pays close attention to how someone reacts to his progress. Does she genuinely celebrate his victories, or does every achievement somehow become the beginning of an argument? Does she encourage his discipline, or constantly compete with it for attention? Number 8, they protect their identity, like a fortune. A Sigma male believes that one of the easiest things to lose in a relationship isn't money, time, or even freedom. It's your identity. And once that begins to disappear, many people don't even notice it happening. It rarely happens through one big decision. Instead, it happens in small, almost invisible steps. You stop doing certain things because they're not important anymore. You hold back your opinions to avoid unnecessary arguments. You slowly replace your routines with someone else's preferences. Before long, you're living a life that feels familiar to everyone except yourself. A Sigma male pays attention to these subtle changes because he knows how dangerous they can become. He has worked hard to understand who he is. He knows what he believes, what he values, what excites him, and what kind of life he wants to build. He isn't willing to trade that self-awareness for acceptance. If staying in a relationship requires him to constantly edit his personality just to keep someone comfortable, he sees that as a warning sign, not a compromise. The harsh truth is that many people don't fall in love with each other. They slowly disappear into each other. They begin dressing differently, thinking differently, speaking differently, and making decisions based less on their own values and more on avoiding conflict. Somewhere along the way, they stop asking, what do I truly want? And start asking, what will keep this relationship happy? A Sigma male refuses to reach that point. He believes love should give both people room to remain themselves. A healthy relationship should allow individuality to grow, not quietly erase it. Two complete people should walk side by side, not one person slowly becoming a shadow of the other. That's why he values partners who respect boundaries, encourage authenticity, and don't mistake independence for emotional distance. He wants someone who appreciates the person he already is, not someone who expects him to slowly become someone else. Number 9, they don't mistake constant communication for real connection. A Sigma male isn't impressed by how often two people talk. He's far more interested in the quality of those conversations than the quantity. In a world where people can send hundreds of messages a day, he has learned that constant communication doesn't automatically create genuine closeness. Many relationships today confuse availability with intimacy. If someone doesn't reply within a few minutes, questions begin. If they aren't constantly checking in, doubts appear. Somewhere along the way, love became measured by response times instead of understanding. A Sigma male quietly rejects that idea. He doesn't believe that sending messages from morning until night proves anything. Two people can talk every hour and still know very little about each other. They can exchange jokes, updates, and emojis all day long while avoiding the conversations that actually build trust. To him, that's not connection. It's simply communication without depth. What he values is presence. When he's with someone, he wants conversations that reveal character, values, fears, dreams, and the way they truly see the world. He would rather have one honest conversation that lasts an hour than 100 empty messages that say almost nothing. The harsh truth is that many people use constant communication to calm their own anxiety. They aren't always looking for connection. They're looking for reassurance. Every notification becomes proof that everything is still okay. Every delayed reply becomes a reason to overthink. That cycle can quickly turn a relationship into a full-time job. A Sigma male refuses to live like that. He doesn't want a relationship built around monitoring phones, counting messages, or measuring affection by how quickly someone replies. He believes trust should exist even when there is silence. That doesn't mean he ignores the person he cares about. It simply means he understands that healthy relationships leave room for both connection and individuality. People should be able to focus on work, personal goals, family, or even enjoy a few quiet hours without their loyalty being questioned. Number 10, they understand that privacy is becoming a luxury. A Sigma male doesn't see privacy as secrecy. He sees it as a basic part of being an individual. That's why one of the biggest reasons he hesitates to enter relationships is because he has noticed how privacy is slowly disappearing, replaced by the expectation of constant access. Today, many people believe love means knowing everything. They expect immediate replies, constant updates, shared passwords, location tracking, and an explanation for every hour that isn't spent together. If someone takes time for themselves, it can quickly become a reason for suspicion. To a Sigma male, that's not closeness. That's surveillance wearing the mask of affection. He believes trust should make privacy possible, not impossible. A Sigma male doesn't need to know every conversation his partner has, and he doesn't expect someone to monitor his every move either. He understands that every person needs space to think, reflect, and simply exist without feeling observed. Solitude isn't a threat to love. Sometimes it's what keeps love healthy. The harsh truth is that many relationships slowly become investigations instead of partnerships. Innocent questions turn into constant check-ins. Healthy curiosity becomes endless monitoring. Before long, people begin explaining themselves, not because they've done something wrong, but because they've become used to being questioned. That kind of pressure pushes a Sigma male away. He doesn't want to feel like he's living under a microscope where every delay, every quiet moment, or every independent decision needs approval or explanation. He believes that a relationship should be built on confidence, not constant verification. What many people fail to realize is that privacy creates respect. It acknowledges that your partner is still an individual with their own thoughts, routines, friendships, and moments that don't need to be reported like a daily checklist. Removing all privacy doesn't strengthen a relationship. It often weakens it by replacing trust with control. Number 11, they don't want to be chosen out of convenience. A Sigma male isn't interested in being someone's backup plan, safety net, or solution to a problem. He wants to know that if someone chooses him, it's because they genuinely value who he is, not because he happens to make life easier. That distinction matters more to him than most people realize. He has seen relationships that were built on convenience rather than connection. One person wanted financial stability. Another was afraid of being alone. Someone else felt pressure from family, friends, or society to settle down. On the surface, everything looked normal, but underneath, the relationship was held together by need, not genuine appreciation. A Sigma male pays attention to the reasons behind someone's interest. He quietly asks himself questions that many people never think to ask. Would this person still choose me if I had less money? If I lost my status? If there were no audience to impress? If the benefits disappeared, would the feelings remain? Those questions aren't born from insecurity. They're born from experience. The harsh truth is that convenience can look a lot like love in the beginning. It's comfortable, it's practical, it solves problems. But when a relationship is built on what one person provides instead of who they are, it becomes fragile. The moment circumstances change, so can the commitment. That's why a Sigma male doesn't rush to impress people with possessions, achievements, or social status. He would rather someone discover his character than be attracted to the lifestyle surrounding him. Material things can be gained and lost. Character is what remains when everything else is stripped away. He also refuses to stay with someone who treats the relationship like a comfortable arrangement instead of a meaningful bond. He doesn't want to feel replaceable, like anyone with similar resources or qualities could fill the same role. He wants to know that his presence, not just his usefulness, is what truly matters. Number 12, they believe the wrong relationship costs more than being single ever could. A Sigma male doesn't measure a relationship by how good it feels in the beginning. He measures it by what it could eventually cost. While many people fear being single, he fears something else entirely. Waking up years later and realizing he sacrificed his peace, his purpose, and his identity for a relationship that was never right in the first place. He has seen it happen too many times. He has watched people abandon lifelong dreams because someone didn't support them. He has seen ambitious individuals settle for less just to avoid conflict. He has watched confident people slowly lose their voice because keeping the relationship alive became more important than being honest. None of those losses happen overnight. They happen one compromise at a time until the person staring back from the mirror feels like a stranger. That is the cost a Sigma male refuses to pay. The harsh truth is that a bad relationship doesn't just waste your time. It changes the direction of your life. It influences your decisions, your habits, your confidence, your finances, your friendships, and even the way you see yourself. Years can disappear while you're trying to fix something that was quietly breaking you all along. A Sigma male understands that being single comes with moments of loneliness, but loneliness is temporary. Living in the wrong relationship can create a deeper kind of emptiness, one where you're never truly alone, yet somehow feel completely disconnected from yourself. That's why he doesn't rush love, no matter how much pressure the world puts on him. Society often treats being single like a problem that needs to be solved, but he doesn't see it that way. He believes the real mistake isn't waiting too long. The real mistake is choosing the wrong person simply because waiting feels uncomfortable. For him, staying single is never the ultimate goal. Choosing wisely is. If the right person comes along, someone who brings trust, respect, peace, and genuine partnership, he'll welcome that relationship. But until then, he'll gladly protect the life he has built, rather than gamble it on a connection that could quietly take away everything he worked so hard to become. As you've seen, the reasons Sigma males avoid relationships are far deeper than most people assume. It isn't always about fear, arrogance, or a lack of emotion. More often, it's about protecting something they believe is far more valuable than temporary excitement, peace of mind, personal identity, purpose, freedom, and genuine self-respect. They understand that the right relationship can become one of life's greatest blessings, but the wrong one can quietly drain your energy, derail your goals, and leave you wondering where the real version of yourself disappeared. The harsh truth is that this mindset isn't exclusive to Sigma males. It's a lesson anyone can learn. Never let loneliness pressure you into accepting less than you deserve, and never confuse attention with love, convenience with commitment, or chemistry with compatibility. The strongest relationships aren't built on constant excitement. They're built on trust, mutual respect, shared values, and two people who make each other better without asking either person to lose themselves. Whether you agree with every point or not, one thing is certain: choosing who you allow into your life is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Take your time, pay attention to actions more than words, and never be afraid to walk away from anything that costs you your peace. If you enjoyed this video and found these insights valuable, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. If any of these points resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could encourage someone else who needs to hear it. And if you know someone who would benefit from this discussion, share this video with them. Thanks for watching, and remember, the greatest relationship you'll ever build is the one you have with yourself. Protect it wisely, because every other relationship in your life will be shaped by that one.